welcome back to Mindful Magnetism. My name is Andrew, and on this channel I help you develop strategies to maximize your health, happiness and mental freedom. Mental freedom, you say? Yes, mental freedom. Let's talk about mental freedom. A few years ago, one of my colleagues told me about a 10-day silent meditation retreat that anyone can go to, as it's run on a donations basis and is therefore free of charge. Now, this was instantly music to my ears because I've been meditating for quite a while now, and I'm always looking to step up my consciousness game, if you will. So I heard about this retreat and I was instantly thinking of ways to do it. Now, I'd attempted this retreat before and only managed 3 days and had to go home. And I believe that is because I was experiencing quite a bit of grief from a certain situation, which I will not go into in this video. So that was last year, just before the lockdown came and struck. The first lockdown, that is. I managed to get a space on the course this year as well, and I got back a few days ago. Now, this retreat was probably, if not the most life-changing experience I've had, then it's definitely joint top with a few others. It's based on the teachings of Buddha and the technique that he discovered however many thousand years ago and gifted to people to learn as well. So I signed up to the meditation course, and it was the venue is called Dhamma and it's in Herefordshire. Absolutely stunning venue. The nature there is amazing. You know, there are many plants, and it's just a very well run and clean and good vibe center. On my YouTube banner, I mention inner alchemy. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, what is inner alchemy? It's not a term you hear on a regular basis. Well, alchemy is known as the transmutation of base metals into gold. But when we talk about alchemy, we're not talking about base metals and gold. We're talking about the alchemy that is conducted inside of one's own body-mind complex, right? And that's what alchemy was back in the day as well. It's an inner transformation to bring about a change in one's inner and outer world. Okay, so alchemy is a whole subject on its own. In this video, I'm going to focus on the alchemy that was conducted during this 10-day silent retreat called Vipassana. The meditation technique is called Vipassana, and that was the technique that Buddha discovered and taught thousands of people, and allowed them to free themselves from the shackles of their minds and their bondages. Gautama the Buddha's story is one of the most epic stories known to humankind. He went and discovered the root cause of all his suffering from diving into the deepest states of his mind and figuring out the law of nature. And by doing this, he became liberated, enlightened, moksha, nirvana, whatever you want to call it. He tapped into it. These words get thrown around a lot, but what do they actually mean? Well, enlightenment is the end of all suffering. It's when you pass a threshold, and once you pass that threshold, there is nothing more you can do to cause suffering for you or anyone around you. You've established a foundation of pure love and compassion, and you have ridded the mind of all its impurities and illusions. So once you pass this threshold, you become essentially walking love. You are pure love. When you hurt other people, you're actually hurting yourself. So the retreat was 10 days of 10 hours of meditation. So we got there the day before, day 1, and we kind of established ourselves in a few meditations just to kind of prepare ourselves for the 10 solid hard days that were to come. And yeah, so the first 3 days were we learned a certain meditation technique, which wasn't Vipassana. I can't remember the names of them, but these techniques were basically to sharpen our mind to prepare ourselves for the Vipassana technique, because the Vipassana technique requires an extremely high level of body-mind awareness. I believe the first 3 days were Anapana meditation, and that's where you basically focus on your respiration and you narrow it down to this small triangular area here. And when you do that, your mind becomes concentrated and it increases your awareness significantly. So we done that for about 3 days, and then on day 4 the Vipassana started. And Vipassana is essentially scanning your body from head to toe and coming across you'll come across blind spots, and within these blind spots are what are known as Sankaras, and it's these Sankaras which are essentially causing us our suffering. They are the impurities of the mind, because the mind's impurities are stored in the body and we become tense. If you look at a stressed person, he's very tense, he's very agitated, and it's because his mind has created these Sankaras made up of tiny atoms or corpuscles, yeah. Tiny little corpuscles. And you can test this, right? I'm gonna test you, okay? So think of the time your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with you. Doesn't that send a shock into your body? Or the time your son or daughter really hurt themselves, or the time something didn't go the way you wanted it to go, right? And when you think of that, your body tenses up and your breathing becomes irrational. It stops. The normal flow of respiration ceases to exist. You start, and that's because you've generated Sankaras within your body, which are energetic blockages within your energy system, right? These tensions in the body are otherwise known as Gordian knots, and you can go and look this up, and I believe it's a biblical reference. And these Gordian knots are like knots inside your body that you have to work to release to essentially purify your mind and rid yourself of all the suffering that you've accumulated over time, over past lives and past karmas and past karmic debts that you've had to pay back. And essentially, once you rid yourself of all these impurities and you live a life of love, compassion and non-attachment, that's when they say you have reached enlightenment, and there is no more you can do to cause yourself suffering or cause other people to suffer. In Buddhism, which is not a religion by the way, or anything sectarian, they use the term Dhamma, which is the path to liberation, and Dhamma translates to cosmic law and order. And essentially the cosmic law is that, you know, it relates back to ancient hermetics as well, on the law of cause and effect, in that every effect has its cause and every cause will have an effect, and this is karma essentially. And what the Buddhists believe is that however many impurities you have left at the time you pass away, you bring those in with you into the next life, because it's all atoms and corpuscles, and whatever's left inside this meat suit, which is impermanent, which they call anicca, impermanence, is taken on to the next life, and then you have those in the next life to get rid of to become enlightened, right? Okay, now let's talk about the meditation. So the meditations were an emotional roller coaster. There were times where I would feel these Sankaras running up my body, these mental impurities, and I would have yawning fits. And other times I might feel it coming up as a burp, and I would burp it out a few times. Other times I would get shivers up my body and tingles, and this is very well known in the spiritual community as purging, and a lot of people purge in other situations. A lot of my viewers will know what I'm talking about, and so, you know, deep states of meditation can almost be comparable to if you know you know, but it's a different way of releasing those traumas, because you're doing it the natural way. And yeah, there were also times that I'd feel the energy coming up. I'd feel it kind of get lodged in my Adam's apple, and you know, in the Vipassana meditations there comes a stage where you can feel the vibrations running through your body from head to toe, toe to head, and then you can kind of manipulate the energy within your body. So I would feel an impurity come up, get caught here, and I would try and force it out using my mind. So your mind you can use to literally run energy up through your body and release, but it wouldn't come out. So I was thinking, like, this is annoying, which goes against the Vipassana teachings, because the Vipassana teachings are that no matter how much pain you experience, or no matter how much you crave those nice vibrations that run through your body, let them go, because the whole goal of Vipassana is non-attachment, no craving with what is not, and no aversion to what is. That is the whole goal. So yeah, so I was feeling the energy run up here, and I was trying to release it, and I couldn't. And there came a time where everyone left the meditation hall, and I just started crying. That's how it was released. It was released as tears, and yeah, it's just amazing how energy really works. And you know, when you actually realize thoughts are literal vibrations that are, you know, if they're negative thought patterns, they get stored in your body and you can release them. That was new to me. So yeah, very, very interesting. Also, during these meditations, you're sat in a seated position for 1 hour minimum. The meditations were, sometimes we had 2-hour meditations, and we are urged throughout the course, no matter how much throbbing or painful sensations are running through your leg, or no matter how much you want to itch that little itch on your nose, or move your body or change positions, you're kind of required not to, because they reinforce the term anicca, and that everything is impermanent. So even as excruciating as the pain is, it's impermanent and it's going to go away. And this is how you train the unconscious mind to let go of suffering. And we kind of, it's a mind-body connection, and when you distinguish that connection between the mind and the body, and how the body affects the mind and how the mind affects the body, you start to see the real law of nature and understand that everything is impermanent, and you train your mind to let go of that which no longer serves you anymore. Now in Vipassana, the teachings are based on the idea that to release all your old Sankaras, you need to not generate any new ones, and the way to do that is to live a righteous life of love and compassion. Because when you live to serve others and be selfless, and of course we all have jobs and we need to make our money if you're living in society, but it's a matter of having a job which doesn't harm any other beings, and it's about not doing anything to harm any other being. So no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no killing, no physically or mentally hurting other beings, and just displaying acts of love. So just giving selflessly, and that's basically how you purify yourself and rid your body of all the old toxic sludge, basically. So yeah, this is all just kind of coming from the top of my head. There is so much more that the retreat taught, but it would be too much for one video to include. But I would 1,000,000% recommend for anyone who feels this calling to go and do the meditation retreat and see for themselves how beneficial and life-changing this course is. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, without a doubt, if not the hardest thing I've ever done. But it is also the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So some of the many benefits I've taken away from the meditation retreat is, of course, number one, the much greater wisdom I have from kind of understanding how the mind-body complex works and how to essentially stop generating more negativity for myself. And when I do generate more negativity for myself, I'm conscious of it, so I can feel the energetic blockages taking place when they do, and yeah, I can feel them more in my meditations and just go deeper, really. Number two is that colors are way more saturated. I mean, you know, when I look around, not just colors, my senses have been sharpened significantly, so everything is just a lot clearer. It's so weird how when you release these things, you know, colors just look more luminescent and sound is a lot more sharp, and your awareness of subtler things just becomes way more expansive. So in essence, what I'm saying is that I can appreciate the beauty of life more and the 5 or 6 sense phenomenon. Another benefit I've taken from the retreat is that I feel way lighter. I just feel like so much rubbish that I've not even known was there has been dug out of my brain or mind-body complex and just thrown into the abyss. It's like every second you're sitting in the meditation hall facing your Sankaras or demons, essentially, you are removing junk files from the computer and throwing them in the recycling bin, or yeah, essentially permanently deleting them. That's the best analogy I can give to what it feels like when you're accessing these deep states of meditation. My relationships have significantly improved, so all the people around me can kind of sense this new lack of energetic blockage, and the conversations flow a lot more nicely. it's just, you know, we can all feel energy. We can feel when someone's stressing, and we can feel when someone's really happy and glowing. And that's because our electromagnetic fields come into contact with each other and give each other information about the state of that energy. And because I've gone to this retreat and released all these demons, you know, people can sense that, and it's like there's no more of a barrier between me and someone else, because all I have to offer them is love and compassion. So yeah, that's another major benefit of the retreat. And yeah, I just feel like life is a lot more beautiful than how I felt before I went to the retreat. I feel like all this corona talk has really plagued the minds of most of the people living on planet Earth, and including me. And this retreat really allowed me to get rid of all of those junk files, all of that negativity, and come back to my natural state of being, which is love. And you know, I wish this for everyone. It's essential. It is essential if, you know, if you want to live a life of happiness. It is essential that you rid your demons and, you know, come back to your natural state of love and just live with compassion. That's all I have for you for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope, even if you don't go and do a 10-day meditation retreat, start a meditation practice at home. Start to discover how your mind works. And, you know, Socrates once said, to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. And of course, the wiser you are, the less you suffer. So know thyself. Take care, guys. Hope you have a brilliant day, and see you on the next one.